Accountability is not a tool that you use to enforce onto your team. It's a process for acknowledging success or failure and whether the desired results have been achieved. And so in your accountability conversation, you need to come into agreement with your team member on what accountability means for yourself and for the team member, and also how accountability will benefit them. This agreement should also include what are the types of support that they may need and the role that you can play to keep them accountable, and to also allow both of you to communicate on progress towards the final goals that need to be achieved. One reason why team members can feel resentment is that they sometimes see accountability as an oppressive management tool rather than a supportive measure that can help them succeed. Get your team member or your team to discuss among themselves or with you on what needs to be done in order to achieve the desired results. This will include goals, milestones, or any way that signifies progress towards the work that needs to be done and the results to be achieved. You're there to help them brainstorm ideas, to set expectations, and to support them. In this way, they hold themselves accountable, which is much better than you holding them accountable. Now that you've had the accountability conversation and you have set the expectations, it's time for you to delegate, not abdicate. To abdicate is to simply tell your team what needs to be done and then to never bother them again until the day in which results have to be produced. To delegate means that you are assigning to work to them, you are making them accountable, and you're also establishing a channel of communication so that you can stay up to date as to the progress towards the work to be done. 11. It is during these regular check-ins, once you have delegated the work to your team or a team member, that you play the supportive role of coaching and developing your team to ensure that they have the right skills and mindset in order to overcome the challenges in front of them and achieve the desired results. A leader is there to bring the team to success. And when you are there supporting them and coaching them and helping them to improve in the work that they need to do, then they are less likely to feel resentment because you are involved in their work in a positive way. As a first-time leader, you have to keep your team accountable every day for the work that they have to do and the results that they have to produce. Let's have a quick look through once again at the 11 ways that you can keep others accountable without resentment. Start by being open and transparent about why accountability is good for the team and also good for their individual professional development. Your team is more likely to accept accountability in their work if you are embracing accountability yourself. It has to start with you. Accountability is for the good of everyone in the team and has to be evenly applied to all, even if you are friends with a few of your team members outside of work. You lead for the good of the business and for the good of the entire team, not for a select few. How you apply accountability will differ from team member to team member. Some team members will enjoy very firm accountability and being held to that, while others may require more support from you in order to stay accountable. It helps when you listen to them to understand from them what they need from you in order to do the work that they have to do and to stay accountable. In this way, you can support them so that it's easier for them to do so. And that means when you have that accountability conversation, it's actually useful for you to be curious about how they see accountability and what they need from you. In this way, they can keep themselves accountable rather than you enforcing accountability on them. And keep in mind that when you're having that accountability conversation, to understand the perspective that your team member is from. They may not see things the way you see it and may not understand why they are held accountable for certain things. Keep in mind for yourself and for your team member that accountability is simply a means towards an end. It's a way of measuring progress and to ensure that the results delivered is to the required standard. Help them to empower themselves by guiding and showing them what they need to do in order to produce the desired results so that they can keep themselves accountable. If you like the content that you see so far, make sure you hit a like, subscribe, and leave a comment in this video. It helps me to grow the channel. Thanks. Once you have delegated the work and you and your team have agreed on the accountability, make sure you still check in regularly on their progress to see how you can keep helping them. And this help means empowering them or coaching them with the right skills and mindset to continue to do the work, to produce the desired results, and to stay accountable. There are 3 things that stood out in my research to answer this question. 1, you have to be consistent when it comes to keeping your team accountable. Accountability has to be applied to everyone. Your team is accountable to you, and at the same time, you are accountable to your team. While I've mentioned that having a strong relationship with your team will make it easier for you to keep them accountable, any personal relationships that you may have with individual team members need to be kept out of work. When it comes to work, work is work. Nothing creates that sense of resentment quicker than the feeling that accountability is being selectively applied. Accountability and the positive and negative consequences that come with them have to be evenly applied to all, and that is fair. Second, think of accountability as a system that an organization uses to ensure that its employees are producing the results that they are paid to produce. And as people managers, team leaders such as yourself, you are part of this system of accountability. And how you enforce this system is through a process where you have your accountability conversations with individual team members or with your entire team. As much as you have to enforce this accountability, wouldn't it be nice if you didn't need to have such frequent accountability conversations? After all, as a team leader, I'm sure you have other things to do. When you are educating your team about accountability, what you are really trying to do is to get them to have a sense of ownership. When a team member takes ownership, what they're really doing is giving others that peace of mind that the work will be done and the desired results will be produced. You don't really have to enforce accountability on someone who has taken ownership, because when someone takes ownership, they are already keeping themselves accountable to everyone around them. And that, I think, is the real goal of accountability. That is why you have cases where you need to enforce accountability more on some team members and a lot less on others. It is that degree of ownership team members are taking, which I believe is the real goal behind those accountability conversations and the need for accountability. Finally, accountability is a joint exercise. You have to collaborate with your team member in order to ensure that the accountability happens. You can't just enforce accountability on someone and expect changes to just miraculously take place. As much as any team leader wishes for that to happen, those are rare occurrences. Most team members actually need help in order to stay accountable. Sometimes this help can be in the form of a training. It could also be having an accountability partner. Other times it could be education on what accountability means and the positive and negative consequences that comes with that accountability. The point is that you are there because accountability is a collaborative journey with your team. You have to be there to enforce, to communicate, to reward your team members in that journey. Now, this is a constant thing that any team leader needs to do, and so it is a constant challenge for all team leaders. I hope you have found the 11 ways to hold others accountable without resentment useful in your future accountability conversations. In any case, my name is Daniel Lee from First Time Leadership. I look forward to speaking with you soon.